the show where we talk about real film movies, which are both the same thing, but we'll talk about the news and reviews and reviews on film and TV and comic books too. We'd love to hear from you. We hope you enjoy it too. So subscribe to Real Film Podcasts and Reviews.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Real Issues podcast, formerly known as the Real Film Podcast, where we talk about things to do with films that you may or may not find interesting. Hopefully you will. Is that a good intro?
Perfect summary.
Yeah. Like today, where we're going to be talking about what Batman film do we want to see on the big screen. Before we start, have you got any recommendations or anything of anything you've been doing for our lovely listeners?
Watched the first episode of The Handmaid's Tale. Is that the?
I've
what
been meaning to check it out. Yeah.
Very bleak.
Good.
I mean, you can't really watch it and say you enjoyed it because it's
grim.
Yeah, it's pretty grim, but really good. Yeah, a dystopian sort of future sort of thing about women who are kind of enforced to be like surrogates of barren women.
Yeah, there's only a certain amount of women that can have children or something like that.
It's a dystopian future where a very small percentage of people can actually have babies. So it's a comment on women's role in society, probably.
Yeah.
Metaphor, but actually also real. Metaphor. It's a metaphor that actually happened.
That actually happened. Is that all you've done? Or you want to...
Been reading Batman Court of the Owls in keeping with our topic
for today.
Scott Snyder's New 52 run, which is
very good run.
It's kind of, I was talking to someone on Twitter about this, saying it's probably the run that got me into comics.
Yeah,
in the first place, because I think you bought me. I think I worked out it was issue number 8 for my birthday,
was it
5 years ago or something?
Oof.
So you owe me like hundreds of pounds, basically.
Why? Because it forced you to carry on buying more.
Started the addiction.
If you say so.
That's about it. Well, I went to see Gifted, actually, on limited screening. There's a review on the site. That's pretty good. Chris Evans and McKenna Grace. Sort of a family drama sort of thing about an intelligent girl.
And just an intelligent girl.
Very intelligent girl.
Very intelligent.
But yeah, it's pretty what you'd expect. But I think it's really... kind of its strength is in the two main performances, really. The girl is exceptionally good, actually.
Good to see Chris Evans doing more than just being a cool beating up bad guys and Nazis and stuff.
He's pretty cool in this though as well. So.
Oh, fair enough.
He's just a cool guy.
Joey's not cool in Iceman. He's weird in that.
Is that Michael Shannon? Yeah,
Michael Shannon. Yeah, he plays a fellow assassin sort of thing, and he's a bit weird in that. Does he drive an ice cream truck, or is that the actual main guy? I can't remember, but yeah, he plays a bit of a weirdo in that. I didn't realize it was Chris Evans at first because it's quite a small role, but
he wasn't. He didn't have a shield either, so it's
exactly. I was like, who's this guy?
I would say this is Chris Evans, but he's not got a shield, so
exactly. Yeah, he's not wearing red or blue. No idea. What have I been doing? Started rewatching Parks and Rec, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I just finished that actually.
So good. Such a good TV series. If no one's checked it out, you should definitely check out Parks and Rec.
It's one of those things where you just watch it and it just instantly makes you happy.
Yeah, it's like I watched the first season all in pretty much one go. I mean, it's only 5 episodes, but 6 episodes, which is weird. I don't know why it's that short.
It's like a pilot series, and then.
Yeah, is it a pilot series or did it come around at
I don't know, because it just
screenwriting strike or something maybe?
Possibly, yeah. But I do feel like series 1 is quite distinct and it does feel quite different. Like the characters aren't as developed. Yeah. Like Andy's a completely different character in season 2. I think Mark's a completely different character as well.
Yeah, well, I think with Mark they'd make a bit of a joke out of it that they're changing him a bit. And yeah, some of them are a little bit different, but I'd say I think it's almost like a pilot season. They were like, oh, wow, we weren't expecting a sitcom about a parks and recreations department in a made-up town in America being this much of a hit. Let's changed these characters a little bit. And obviously, Chris Pratt probably wasn't supposed to be a continuing character because in the first season it says like guest starring, and then afterwards he obviously stays on. So they're probably like, oh, if we keep people like him, but if we keep him being this much of an idiot, then people are really gonna start to dislike him like really quickly.
Yeah, because I didn't like it because obviously I didn't watch it till after I'd seen like Guardians of the Galaxy, and then I kind of watched it. I was like, why do people like Chris Pratt's character in this? He's a complete arsehole.
Yeah, he's like not a nice guy.
He's a really bad guy.
Yeah, bit of an idiot. But I've been rewatching that, and I've basically been sinking most of my time into playing Bloodborne, which is a fantastic game.
It is. I've been doing that as well.
Yeah, pretty much that's all my spare time's been going into doing that, really, because there's nothing good out of the cinema at the moment. So I was like, all right, I'll play some games instead.
What about the Mummy?
I think we're gonna discuss Bloodborne at some point, maybe in an episode.
Yeah, I think we should.
Dark Souls and that sort of thing.
Do an episode on each, maybe.
But if you're into that sort of thing, then that's a great game. Check it out.
It's really cheap as well. Did you buy it in the PlayStation Store?
Yeah, on the PlayStation Store, it's pretty cheap at the moment.
It's like 15 quid,
15, 20 quid. Something like that. I think it might be £16, something like that at the moment, till about the end of this month. So if you got a PS4, go and grab it quick, because it's value for money is just ridiculous.
The amount of hours you get out of that game is...
Yeah, there's £16, and you just think, even on a first playthrough, you're going to be sinking in, like 40 hours?
Yeah, I said this to someone on Twitter before, and he was saying like he's really interested in playing Dark Souls and Bloodborne, but he's waiting to get it like a good price. And I was just like, for 40 quid, it's still a really good deal.
Yeah,
you're getting your money's worth for 40 quid.
Yeah, it's like less than like £1 an hour for like
good maths.
First playthrough, and then if you're going to play it again because you're going to miss stuff.
I feel like I've missed loads already. Like,
oh yeah, I feel like I have as well, and I've made a few mistakes already and stuff. Because I was speaking to our friend Paul, and he was just telling me about to get the pure ending to that game. It's really difficult. Like you have to do everything right.
Umbilical cord things.
Oh, I don't know. He's not telling what it is. He was just like to get, but apparently only 1% of people have the trophy for that ending. It's a really rare trophy in the PlayStation Store, so it is really hard to get. But that's like the pure ending that is supposed to be the proper ending sort of thing. But that doesn't mean all the other endings aren't cool and make sense and stuff. But it's really hard to get, and I feel like I've messed up already.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if it's like harder than Dark Souls to pick up on.
I think some aspects are and some aspects aren't. Like I've heard, like once you know what's going on, it's really clear. Whereas still with Dark Souls, it's quite vague with some things. But then with Dark Souls, what I was saying to Paul the other day was, from the start, all right, I'm getting the Lords of Sin. I need to hunt down the Lords of Cinder and put them back.
You know what your mission is.
Yeah, even though the world's quite vague and what is the first flame, what is the magic, and all that sort of stuff. Whereas with Bloodborne, it's kind of some of it makes more sense. Not more sense, but some of it's a bit clearer, and then other parts you're like, well, what am I doing? And why am I doing it? Sort of thing. But it's awesome.
Bloodborne gets very weird as well. Like, there's a boss I've just defeated, and everything's just gone to like shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what is going on?
What is happening?
This is not, and there's some enemies in it as well that kind of don't really seem to fit like the game.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what is going on? It's just
I think
it's an amazing game.
It's all purposeful and everything. That's the best thing about it. I've been sinking my time into that, and I think we're going to get Paul on an episode, and we're going to do a discussion on the type of storytelling and game mechanics that they kind of use, like from software games, with the kind of the ambiguity and the sort of let the player figure it out for themselves sort of thing.
I think we should. I was going to say something, but I'll save it.
Be interesting. So look out for that in the near future. Should we get into our topic of the day?
Yeah.
Which, as I mentioned at the start, is what Batman villains do we want to see on the big screen? Put some music in here.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing now.
We decided to do this episode because TV Batman's Adam West passed away a couple of weeks ago. Is it a couple of weeks ago now? A week
Yeah,
last
probably.
week?
Yeah,
Yeah.
about a week,
So
10 days.
we thought, oh, we'll do it. We'll do a Batman topic because
We'll
we like
capitalize
Batman.
on something horrible happening.
Yeah, we'll capitalize on his death. No, but it's fitting. We like Adam West. Seems like a cool guy. We like Batman, so we just thought we'd talk about a Batman topic. And we've not really had that many Batman villains, really. Like if you think about
Like
it,
Adam West is probably the one who had the most, really.
yeah, the most. He'd like all the. I think on TV it's quite easy though, isn't it? Like every week you can
You
just
just
be
have a
like,
different villain, yeah.
let's get a different villain in. But in terms of on the big screen, we've kind of had Joker 3 times. We've had Bane a couple of times. Catwoman a few times. There's been Poison Ivy, but like I think there's some great ones
Two-Face
out
a couple
there.
of times.
Yeah, Two-Face a couple of times.
Some were done well, and some were done very badly.
Yeah, indeed, but I think there's kind of a real big scope out there for great villains that have never been used. I think it's kind of undisputed that Batman has the best back catalogue.
Oh, I
of
think
villains.
without a doubt.
Like there's so many great ones. Like
Spider-Man has good ones, but
Spider-Man is a good one. Spider-Man, but then you just get the Flash, who's all these.
everyone's just really fast.
Yeah,
It's, like,
everyone's
great.
just. Everyone's just got the same thing he has, and you just go, oh, it's really boring. But Batman has some great ones. Do you want to kick us off with who you'd like to see? Give us one.
Should we
We'll
start with
go
our?
back.
We could start with our favourite ones that have been on screen
Who've been our favourite villains?
already. Yeah. So
Yeah,
so if we don't mention them, that's kind of why.
Yeah, that's why they're not there.
So I think who nailed it basically. I mean, Heath
Well,
Ledger,
there's
obviously.
The obviously.
So we're
Heath Ledger.
probably not going to mention the Joker because
Yeah,
it's been
The
done
only-
and it's been done pretty perfectly. The only thing is, I suppose Jared Leto could actually get it right. That'd be good.
Yeah, that'd
Or
be nice.
David Ayer could get it right. Probably wasn't Jared Leto, to be honest. It's probably
Yeah,
poor writing, but
yeah. I've got a little thing to say about that in a bit, but it's different to kind of the whole villain thing. Heath Ledger obviously nailed it. Is that it? Probably. Tom
I quite like Tom Hardy, but Bane's kind of in the books.
It's not
kind
like
of
a true Bane, obviously.
Yeah, in the books, he's kind of a bit more of a proper kind of adversary for Batman. Like obviously the whole Nightfall saga.
Yeah,
I know they kind of had elements of that in Dark Knight Rises, but
yeah.
and again, he was kind of just a pawn in that as well, which is kind of. I always feel like if you use a big villain as like almost a pawn, it kind of takes a little bit away from them.
Yeah, it does. Like his. Oh yeah, probably full Batman spoilers for all the films. When he dies in that, it's a bit like, oh, all right, okay, he's been the main villain for this whole film. But I kind of I liked him in it.
Yeah, I did.
It's just not really true. It's like a real life. It's like a true representation of what Bane is, because obviously Bane's not one of the more out there ones, but he's, in the comics he grows really big because of the serum and stuff, so which just would be a bit silly in like a Nolan Dark Knight film. I do really love Ra's al Ghul, Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah,
because I kind of like the mystery that's around that.
He's like a blend of
just
two
what-
characters, isn't he?
Is it?
Yeah. Who's the other guy he's kind of blended with?
I do not know. But no, I really like him in that. I think, like, I watched that. I mean, if you know who Ra's al Ghul is, then you know that it's him. So if you're a comic book fan, you kind of know that Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul in it. Or you kind of, I suppose you don't just, like, Liam Neeson's such a big actor, he's not going to just be in it for that little bit and then not come back, sort of thing. But I remember watching that before as a Batman fan and everything, and being quite shocked when he comes back, being like, "Oh my god,
It's not the Chinese guy. It's
not the
me,
Chinese
Liam
man."
Neeson.
Is that whitewashing?"
I will find you.
No one had a problem with it then, did they?
Yeah, it's pre outrage.
Yeah. No one has a go at Nolan. Like, why did you cast Liam Neeson?
Political correctness gone mad.
Yeah,
You can't even rate racist hate speech with your own feces on someone's car anymore.
exactly. It's disgraceful. What villains have we had? Who's been done right?
Two-Face, I think really good.
Oh yeah, Two-Face, awesome.
What's his
Awesome.
name? Aaron Eckhart.
Aaron Eckhart, yeah.
I thought he's.
So-
I don't really like him.
I've not really seen him in anything else.
I've
so
not really
I
liked him in
can't
anything else I've seen.
particularly comment. But
I really didn't like him in The Dark Knight as well for ages, but I really like the way he does Two-Face and the way that's written. Actually, I'm not even sure I like him as Two-Face. I just like the way that character's written by Nolan.
Yeah, it's done incredibly well. Like, so you believe it. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, believe that he's been brought down to a crumbling
And like,
man.
yeah, I read The Long Halloween as well, and there's so much of that
so
book.
good.
It's an amazing book. So much as that is in The Dark Knight as well. And
Yeah.
kind of and it's the similar sort of pathway, and like the similar sort of meetings with the three of them on the rooftop. And it's almost like exactly the same scenes in The Dark Knight, and that same kind of sort of diminishing of his character.
Yeah. Well, I saw the version that I've got as an interview with David Goyer, and
Oh yeah, mine does as well.
yeah, in the front of it, and he even says, like, as soon as you read this, you'll see the influences that we took from this for the development of that character and everything.
Catwoman was in The Dark Knight Rises. One thing I was going to say actually about Catwoman was I'd quite like to see her as an actual villain.
Yeah,
and not as like she's kind of just a bit naughty.
Yeah, I mean that's what she generally is nowadays, though, isn't she?
Yeah,
she always
is,
has an off again, on again relationship with Batman and stuff. So I don't think they want to make her a real villain, because then it gets to a point where you just kind of go,
it's a bit boring.
Why is Batman like affiliated with her then? Like, if she's a villain, like that's what he said he's going to like stop.
Yeah.
But no, I know what you mean. I'd like to see something a bit different with her. It'd be quite cool. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Dr. Freeze.
Bad. Not good. Not good at all.
Do you like any of the villains from from Batman Returns?
I think it's like because it's
Batman Forever, Batman and Robin.
Obviously, early, like even Burton's like Joker and Penguin. That's not like our era. I was born in 91, you're in 94. So even like growing up as a kid, I could kind of enjoy that. But now that I didn't watch it as an adult or as a teenager at the time, so I can't appreciate it. And I kind of just watch it thinking, this is just way... Everyone's just so like overplaying it. Like a lot of people rate Nicholson's Joker. I just think compared to Heath Ledger's, like... Yeah. I don't think it's even close.
Yeah, I think it's a time thing because
it is definitely
ridiculous. But the Joker should be terrifying. I think at the time people found him quite like creepy and scary and stuff, but because it's a little bit ridiculous, it's just a bit like I don't really. This doesn't particularly do much for me. Really, it doesn't scare me that much.
Not doing it.
No, it's not. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah, but and like Tommy Lee Jones as well as Two-Face and Jim Carrey's Riddler, like it's just isn't that why Tommy Lee Jones says to Jim Carrey, "I cannot sanction your buffoonery"?
Yeah, he hates him, doesn't
he? I was like, yeah, you can kind of tell they hate each other.
Yeah, it's not. There's not a lot of chemistry there, is there?
No. So yeah, there's probably. I guess that's probably why I picked the topic. Really, apart from Nolan, like we don't think they've really got it that right so far.
Yeah.
Or in terms of at least kind of like an accurate comic representation of, or even like modern day comic representation of these characters. Like they've been done well in the past, but as kind of quite eccentric, over the top kind of, like even if you like Jim Carrey's Riddler, like that would not fly these days in a comic book film.
But then again, I won't want to see more sort of Nolan stuff where it's just dark and gritty and real. I want to see something like the Arkham games where it's quite dark and, you know, it's not silly, but it has that kind of comic book style to it. That's what I'd really like to see, like properly brought to life on the screen.
Shall we say our picks?
Yeah, let's go for it.
So I had number 1 on my list was the Riddler.
Riddler's on my list as well.
So mainly because like Hush is one of my favourite storylines, which we might go into later. But obviously the Riddler's like quite a big part in that, in like orchestrating all that stuff. Yeah. And the best Batman stories are detective stories. And even like I think Nolan pretty much got Batman as a character kind of spot on, but they're not really detective stories.
No, he doesn't do much detective.
We've not had a detective Batman story. And and I think the Riddler would be the perfect villain for that. And like as well, like we don't have, like a lot of the best Batman books have loads of villains in. Yeah. And the Riddler could be part of that, like pulling the strings and making Batman like jump through hoops and And
Yeah.
the what was the New 52 storyline? Was it year 0 year?
Zero, yeah.
Where kind of the Riddler's kind of just orchestrating everything.
Yeah.
And having like a proper detective story about how to actually like work stuff out could be like a genuine mystery could be really cool.
Yeah, no, definitely agree. And
World's greatest
obviously,
detective.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Riddler's one of those characters that, as you say, he's got no physical. He offers no physical threat to Batman at all. Like Batman could snap him in two in like 30 seconds, but he's got like the intellect to test Batman and push him. And I mean, the only kind of thing that you kind of have to see about Riddler is he kind of does it just for like laughs.
Yeah.
Like he obviously a lot of the time he doesn't have like a motive. He's just kind of, I just want to do this and try and humiliate Batman and stuff, and it's fun. So you'd kind of have to give him. I feel like you'd have to give him a bit more of a motive in an actual film, push him a bit, like give him something. Because even whatever Jim Carrey's was like, Jim Carrey, he worked for Wayne Enterprises, didn't he? And then did he get fired or something? Or something, I can't remember.
yeah.
Something happened, so he's out for revenge and stuff. So that kind of makes like a bit more sense rather than him just going, "Oh, I'm going to do this just to humiliate Batman and have fun." But I'd love to see him on the big screen, like manipulating Batman. And I think the only issue is because he leaves clues and stuff and riddles. Obviously, he's the Riddler. That making it work would be like making it work would be quite difficult, I think. But I'd love to see it done right.
Agreed. Any
actors?
I was literally going to say, like, should we cast these? And I thought we haven't put any thought into this.
To it.
Someone like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say Benedict Cumberbatch because he's got the arrogance, hasn't he? In the
just play Sherlock.
Kind of like Sherlock.
Yeah.
Played it similar to Sherlock.
Just be a dick.
Just sit around.
And he just kind of has like a physical. He has like a physical presence as well. Whereas a lot like Jim Carrey's Riddler, is just like he's wearing a onesie.
Yeah.
Whereas you could kind of imagine Benedict Cumberbatch like sat in a chair with a big coat on and like.
Yeah, with the green suit.
With a cane, just sort of.
Yeah, chilling out.
That'd be pretty cool. There we go.
Yeah,
Done it. We've done it.
That's the only bit of casting I thought of. Any of the others, I do not know.
I'll get thinking.
Yeah. Shall I do one?
Yeah.
We did see this a bit in Nolan's trilogy, but the Falcone-Maroni crime families, I think it'd be pretty cool if there was a kind of a crime boss, mob boss, gangster sort of storyline, kind of like in Hush. Is it Hush?
Long Halloween,
that is, yeah. That kind of thing to it with, because I've always thought it'd be cool as a almost beginning point for a new Batman.
Yeah, because in both
series and stuff.
I suppose both like Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, it kind of starts off with mob stuff and then kind of you don't really get to see much of it.
Yeah, I'd love to see it because it would kind of be interesting, like if you were to redo Batman again at some point, not to have, because we don't need another origin story, like have it in there, but before.
How do we find out if his parents died though?
In a convenient title sequence, but no, we do before like super villains start to come out and everything. So he's literally just fighting the mob and stuff, but and then he could have like he's fighting the police at the same time because they want to get rid of him.
And he has like a homemade suit where his underpants like on the outside and stuff.
Yeah. But no, I would love to see that kind of thing of him properly tracking down the mob and trying to find out who's in charge, but then also the two mobs are fighting each other, so maybe he has to like compromise at some point and help one of them out to bring down the other one.
Yeah, I was going to say like there's a lot of stuff in the Batman Telltale game about him as Bruce Wayne, like, and his parents' relationship with the mob, and I think there's some of that in Long Halloween as well, where it's because his dad's like one of the richest people in Gotham, like. And Gotham's really corrupt. It's kind of inevitable that they kind of run in the same circles.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's not really been touched on either. That'd be really cool.
No, yeah, I'd really like that kind of thing. And then another one that I've always thought would work well into that, like if you wanted to start bringing in like a supervillain, I know we had Penguin in Batman Returns.
Do not like that version of the Penguin.
No, I don't. But I think like you could have a cool Penguin in that situation as well, where
definitely.
You've got these two established crime families within Gotham, and Batman's kind of trying to bring them down, and Bruce Wayne's trying to bring them down. But then Penguin comes on the scene trying to take control of it all, and it's like you've got
just takes advantage of like
Batman's chaos. Yeah, and you've got all these different areas and stuff. But then, because Penguin's kind of a businessman as well, he could interact with Bruce Wayne as, like as that way as well as interacting with Batman.
That's cool.
So I'd really like to see that, like kind of a bit more. Do you know sort of what Marvel have done, where like each film has like you could do a bit more of like it's a genre.
Yeah,
So you have a Batman film where it's like it's a mob gangster story.
that'd be so cool.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I think would be pretty cool. Do you want to do one more?
Yeah.
Do you want to do one?
So I thought, particularly with the DCEU, we kind of know that Jason Todd's probably dead. So I would like to see Red Hood.
I would love to see Red Hood as well. Red Hood would be a great villain.
So for anyone who doesn't know, Red Hood is the reincarnated Jason Todd after he was, for some reason, everyone voted to kill him.
Yeah.
So he came back as like Red Hood as like a villain, and then he's now sort of a anti-hero sort of thing, like just like hardcore Batman basically.
Yeah. He'll kill
so I think
people.
that could be really cool. Like we know this history exists in the DCU, and you kind of know like for people in the know, you'd know who it is because he'd be wearing a red hood.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I think that'd be a really cool like mystery to see. Like that'd be a really good like character thing for Bruce as well.
Yeah,
and the DCU has been lacking in character development. As you kind of watch someone go through that process, like kind of grieving process, and then kind of getting over it, and then kind of having it brought back into his life and figuring out who it is, and that'd be really, like the guilt as well of like letting him die and kind of how we deal with that. I think would be really, really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, like, he's someone who's also like a physical, like they were doing Deathstroke. I'm not sure if they still are now that Matt Reeves is on board. But like having someone who's like a physical match for Batman as well is pretty. Cool.
To see like him do like a mint fist fight with someone would just be like, yes, that's what I need to see. Because in the Arkham Knight game, as spoilers, obviously, the Arkham Knight is Red Hood, is Jason Todd.
Shock. I love how like the whole way through, it's just like, I know what this is. Yeah, I know what this is.
I know who this is. But in that game, because obviously in canon, in terms of the comics, is it the Lazarus Pit that brings him back to life?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, which obviously is a bit mystical. Maybe a bit too mystical for film, like depending on what angle you're going for. And it kind of sets a precedent then, doesn't it? Like anyone can be brought back from the dead, so you don't really want to do it. But in the Arkham Knight game, isn't it like he never actually killed him? He just...
I can't remember.
Imprisoned him or something?
Oh, was it? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But anyway, that's the way you could do it.
Maybe
like Batman thinks Joker's like murdered him, but he's actually just sort of locked him up for years. And then again, you've got that thing of
no, you're right.
Jason
You're right.
You left me, like you gave up, like you brought me into this, and then I was in trouble, and for the first week I thought you were going to come and you were going to find me, but then after that, I started to realize you'd given up. You weren't going to find me anymore.
That'd be awesome.
And Batman could be like, well, I thought you were dead.
It's like, where was my body?
Yeah, he's like, why?
I didn't look. Honestly, I forgot.
That's what I mean. It could be really interesting dynamic of like betrayal, and you understand it. Like you go, well, yeah, like he was his hero. Like, especially if it's been years and he was quite young when he died. When he died, Joker kidnapped
did that in
him
air quotes for everyone who can't see the Skype call.
Yeah, exactly. So he did that, and then you would want revenge on him. Like, this guy's your father figure, and he's just completely let you down.
Yeah.
Be
very
pretty
cool. Would you
sweet.
kind of hold off on the reveal?
To a certain extent, but not too long, and I wouldn't try and make it too big, because obviously all the fans will know exactly who he is.
I feel like DC would get that wrong.
And then people that don't, again, like even when it was revealed, wouldn't understand the significance, because he would like take his hood off or whatever, and Batman would be like, Jason. And then everyone, either people would be like, yeah, I already know it's Jason, or people would be like, who's Jason?
Or he'd maybe just go, Robin. Or Martha.
Yeah, and be like, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
No,
like,
not everyone's called Martha.
Yeah, it would kind of be a bit like, so I wouldn't hold off on it too. Like DC would do it in the last 5 minutes, and then you'd be like, all right, okay. I feel that would be like a first act sort of thing, and then if you were to do it, there'd have to be another sort of
that's kind of what we talked about.
villain of some sort.
Last week before, something about like villains kind of interacting with the protagonist like early on is generally kind of beneficial rather than just meeting at the end and having a fight.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
So if they had that reveal like early on in like Act 1, then you've got 2 acts to kind of explore that.
Yeah.
Adds more weight, relationships, family.
And then, like, even if you want to do it, like, not cheesy, but yeah, they can come together to try and stop the villain in the end and stuff. But it doesn't have to end all happily and everything.
Yeah, I don't think you even need... that's the thing, though. These things seem to think you need, like, a villain at the end for someone to kill. It's like, you don't need that. It doesn't need to be like an action film. That's the thing that annoys me is that people seem to think that Batman needs to be an action film, and it doesn't.
No, exactly. Detective story. Family story.
Yeah.
That
just
sort
like
of thing.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, family.
Who'd play... Who could you play? Who'd play Red Hood?
I don't know.
Someone badass.
Someone badass. Someone young-ish.
So 20s?
Yeah, 20s. Mid-20s.
I could do it.
Someone buff.
Yeah, still me.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I mean. I couldn't think of Benedict Cumberbatch for Riddler. I'm really bad at casting these sort of things.
I always forget who actors are.
Who's good? Yeah. Who actually is?
What about Jack
Connell?
Yeah.
Is he a bit rough though?
He's a bit rough, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's a bit too rough.
Nah.
He's a bit
He's supposed to be like an outsider, isn't he? That's why everyone voted to kill him because he wasn't cool enough.
He was different.
Yeah. He could do it. He's pretty. He's good.
Yeah, he could do it.
He's really good because have you seen that? You haven't seen Money? Is it Money Monster?
Yeah.
It's him and George Clooney and Sandra Bullock, where he's like he's really pissed off about being like betrayed by by this guy who's like gave him some bad advice or some bad stock advice.
Yeah.
So he like lost all his fight. Like he's really good in that. I mean, he's a really good actor, but he kind of plays that like betrayal thing quite well in that. I could see that. I could see that. I'm going with that. Let's go with that.
Go with that. We'll cast him then. Do you want another one?
Yeah.
One. I've always thought, obviously not a huge villain, and I've never really read many storylines with him in it, apart from when he's kind of been like a side character, like villain, or like a side character to something other, and that's James Gordon Jr.
Yeah.
Obviously, son of Commissioner Gordon,
spoilers,
who is a psychopath. Really,
he's a psychopath.
He's a serial killer. I'm not sure when he goes off the chain or why or whatever, but it could be like a really interesting, again, sort of like crime story of Batman. Like there's this guy on the loose who's doing all this stuff and killing people, bit crazy, and obviously you have a relationship between Batman and Gordon trying to track him down and everything. Then when they find out it's his son and everything, there could be a really...
Batgirl even could be involved. That'd be really cool.
Exactly. Like if you've got Batgirl in it as well, there can be this family conflict where, Gordon's not 100% pure. If you had that kind of version of Gordon, when they find out Batman tries to take him and Gordon's like, let me deal with this, like myself, this is my family. So this is my family, man. Well, about family again.
Saluting my family. Fast and Furious are onto something with this.
Yeah, they are. Everything's about family. But it could be quite cool, like having that dynamic and having
him like come after his family would be really cool. Yeah, like James Gordon, like he returns to kind of try and take down his dad and because he tries to kill his mum before, hasn't he? I think in New 52. Yeah, he attacked his mum
But he can even frame people and everything. Do you know, frame his dad to try and get him taken off the force.
That could be really cool, actually,
because he shows up in Death of the Family as well at some point in the Batgirl storyline. I can't remember what he does, but he's a bit crazy. He stands up to the Joker. Like that's how much of a nutter he is.
Yeah, that could be really cool. Yeah.
Someone
who's like a psychopath, but not also like wacky.
Yeah,
just a
he's
cold, not
cold
like the
hearted.
joke. Yeah, that'd be really
And
cool.
he's got like reasons for. Do you know if when he was maybe like a really pivotal point of his life? That was when they moved to Gotham, and his dad was always working in the police, so he came to like resent that and everything. And obviously Gotham police is really corrupt, so maybe he saw some of that where like
Yeah, that'd be
as he
cool.
grew up and just didn't like any of it and was like had like arguments with his dad about why do you work for these guys, they're corrupt, they don't do things right, and he decides to almost take things into his own hands as a murderer sort of thing,
Yeah,
and
that could be cool.
just all goes a bit mental.
Good choice.
Don't know who to cast though.
Jack O'Connell.
Jack O'Connell again in all the parts. No, I don't
Who
know.
looks like J.K. Simmons?
A young J.K. Simmons.
Who looks like J.K. Simmons?
I'm going to Google it.
Miles Teller.
Miles Teller could probably do it, actually.
He's a real life psychopath.
Shit.
So
I'm going to find a young picture of J.K. Simmons and think, who does that look like? Why aren't there aren't any young photos of J.K. Simmons for some reason?
are there any pictures of his feet?
His feet?
Do you ever get that when you Google like a celebrity and it comes up like third one down is always like feet?
No. It's not possible.
It's usually if he's looking for like a female celebrity. Prefers some weird guys like
Some weird guys.
who's taking a picture of the feet. Like how do you even know it's their feet?
Yeah,
Could
that's
be anyone's
weird.
feet.
Exactly. It's
Do
creepy.
you want to know another psychopath we might
do.
see? Hush.
Love psychopaths. Hush. See, I've got feelings about this, about maybe having Hush as a villain.
You got hurt feelings.
No, not hurt
Oh,
feelings.
God.
I have feelings.
Good.
Do you want
So
to say your stuff about Hush first?
yeah, I don't know if to like spoil Hush.
Let's spoil Hush.
We'll
Yeah.
spoil Hush. So Hush is like a big, kind of like Long Halloween. It's kind of like a big like mystery detective piece, and you kind of find out that Hush is Thomas Elliot. That is
Yeah.
called. It's like
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne's like childhood friend who is kind of like the anti Bruce Wayne in a way.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like this guy who's got rich parents and stuff, but he kind of hated his parents and
Yeah,
tried to
well-
kill them.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, he like.
Cuts their brakes, doesn't he, or something?
He hates the Waynes because. Did they not save his mum or something?
Yeah. He tries to kill his parents, and Bruce's dad
Thomas
saves
Wayne. Yeah, saves his
his
mum.
life. So he kind of is a complete psychopath. But I think that could be really cool. Like if you do that well, and that kind of relationship as them as kids, and then I suppose you've got to do it via flashbacks, so it actually means something without being like too obvious about who Hush is. But I suppose it.
Yeah, that's my problem.
I don't know
with it.
how you do it really, but
Yeah, that's my kind of problem with it. That to make it mean something, you have to have the flashbacks when there's the reveal that it is his childhood friend. But then it'd be just so obvious. Like if you're flashing back to his childhood and he's like, oh, there's all this stuff about his childhood friend and everything.
and a mystery killer. Yeah, who is it?
Yeah, and there's a mystery killer. But because Hush kind of does it where there's like Tommy Elliott is in it as well as himself, because he's like a big surgeon in Gotham at the current time. So if you had that and you thought, oh, what, like you did it in the right way, you could almost hint that it's leading up to he's going to be killed by Hush at some point.
That could be cool.
Like
Yeah,
something like that. So it's a bit more misleading. And then you find out it is him, and you're like, oh my God. Because that's one that could pay off for like a normal audience member because.
I think you need to throw in a lot of red herrings in there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it'd have to be a lot without being overly misleading and kind of annoying about it. But yeah, it could definitely work having that. I mean, you'd have to form a relationship again between like Bruce and like Tom and stuff like that, so when he finds out it's him, there's like a real shock, because I don't think the comic book he's that like upset by it. I think he's a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, like I've seen, he's in the Arkham games as well, in like one of the side quests, and in that Batman's just like, "Yeah, you're a psycho. Get out of here," and then that's like it. And there's no sort of emotional payoff. So you'd have to like build it up to have a big emotional thing of my best mate's a nut job
Yeah.
sort of thing. Like you could even build it up like maybe like not in a gay way, but almost like he's got a friend, like an actual friend in the real world again, and it's sort of like, oh, maybe there is more to my life than just being Batman and beating up bad guys and stuff. And then it turns out his best mate's like a murderer and stuff,
Yeah.
and a bit of a crazy
And
dude.
like he's kind of mates with this guy and didn't work it out as well.
Yeah,
Could really like play on
I
him.
did not see it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And so he's like, yeah, I mean, you could even have, if you had him have like maybe a Robin or Batgirl or Nightwing or something there, and then he starts second guessing them as well, like towards the end of the film, going, well, I didn't know what was going on with this guy who I'm supposed to mates with, and he's turned out he's a mass murderer. What about the other people that are close to me?
Yeah,
And he can start like, pushing them away as well.
so that's what it's all about, isn't it? Like the Lego Batman movie. It's all about family.
Family, yeah. He starts
But
pushing his family away.
That'd be a really good one to have like the Riddler in as well, because he's obviously a big part of the Hush storyline.
Yeah.
To have him in there, and then obviously think, well, the Riddler's could be Hush, or he's like he's like obviously involved with him.
Yeah.
That'd be a good way to kind of throw in some red herrings.
Yeah.
Or even like a mob thing where you just think he's an employed hitman for the mob or something. Could be cool.
Yeah. What else have we got?
That was my list.
Yeah, I've got. I mean, this is like now dipping into territory of villains we have seen on screen, but I'd like to see maybe in a bit of a different way. Is
a better way?
Not a better way. No, not this one anyway. And it's Scarecrow. Like I really liked Cillian Murphy's Scarecrow in Batman Begins. Thought it was a really cool villain and everything. But I'd love to see like a proper mental trippy one, like in the comics, where
cool.
like locks people in his basement and gives them these like nightmares and everything. And even in Arkham Knight, he's so good in that game. Like he's actually like pretty terrifying. Like releasing this whole again, like even though Batman Begins it worked, he was like a pawn of Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins. So I'd love to see him, because even in the Arkham games, some of the best bits are when you get gassed by the fear gas, and you're like stuck in this like nightmare world and everything. So I'd love to see one where that happens and Batman's obviously not go to like a nightmare world because that's a bit like too out there, but he can't judge his surroundings properly and everything, because in like the fear gas in the Batman Begins just sort of made everyone scared of everyone, which it's quite simple, but it's really cool to see it do some really like trippy,
like one way he can't tell what's real and what's not, and
what's real, what's not, and I think that'd be really, really cool to see.
There's like a point where he's realised, there's like a few points I think in that where he does stuff, and then like there's one in Arkham Asylum where Jim Gordon's like dead on the floor. Again, spoilers. And then you kind of go back to later, and it's like, oh, it wasn't him, it was just another guy.
Yeah, it's just some other dude who doesn't matter.
No one cares,
so it's fine.
But that'd be really cool. Something like that where he kind of thinks something's happened one way and then he kind of realises that it hasn't, something.
Yeah, it'd be really cool. And then the other one was, again, something we've seen and seen very recently, but that was done
not very well.
Very, very badly. And that's like the Joker-Harley Quinn relationship on screen is something that I'd love to see done properly and well. Like I could watch a film about that. Like, do you know about the Joker being in Arkham Asylum and him like manipulating her and her being like coerced into it? Like I would happily watch a film
that could be like so that could be a whole film, let alone
like such like a mint like psychological thriller. And then like even if that's not the whole film, like you have that, and then you have them like doing crimes together on the outside, and her kind of realizing, this is good for me, is this a healthy relationship, am I being manipulated, what's going on here? And then maybe like getting away from him and stuff, and like, it could be really, really interesting. And I wish they'd done some of that in Suicide Squad. Check out my rewrite of Suicide Squad, because that's some of the stuff I have in it where she starts to like question the Joker relationship rather than just being completely head over heels in love with him and kind of the film just really badly romanticizing a very unhealthy.
Yeah, I hate when people say like,
I want
Oh,
a
it's just-
relationship like that.
yeah, it's, no, you
You're like,
don't.
what?
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
It's like 16-year-old girls as well. You think, fuck off, mate.
Yeah, if you you don't understand.
Why are you even
this.
allowed on the internet?
Yeah, you don't understand
Child.
this at all, sort of thing. But yeah, that's my list. They're all the ones. I mean, obviously, there's many more that are a bit smaller, like Calendar Man, like he's a big one in Long Halloween.
Yeah.
But I think one of the great things about Long Halloween is that it's no sort of one hero. It's kind of not one villain. Sorry, it's all sort of
Revealed your
mixture
true
of
colours, man.
different people and everything. I think that's what I really like about that one. But you can't really do that as much in a film because in a comic, you're banking on people having read and understood these characters before, so you can just kind of throw them in as bit parts. Whereas you can't really do that as much in the film. Because in Long Halloween, you've got like Two-Face, you've got Calendar Man, you've got
Joker,
you've got the Maroni,
Falcone.
Falcone
You've got
crime
so many
family.
members of that family as well, where they pop up and
Yeah, there's what's it, Alberto? Is he called?
yeah, you got the sister.
Alberto, and then Alberto Falcone, and I've got a list of characters here. I'm trying to find it. What she's called.
And you've obviously got kind of the real villain, or like, I like how the end as well. Kind of,
it's ambiguous.
it's really ambiguous at the end. It's like,
yeah, who actually did everything in that? Was it a mixture of people? Was it one person? Who knows? I'm still trying to find out what the daughter's called.
Sophia, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Sophia. Yeah,
That's one of them.
she's got
isn't it?
like a name though as well, like a gang name. Is it like Gigant something? Giant?
Maybe.
Something or
She's
other?
a big lady.
Yeah, she's really big. We should probably know before we start talking about things, but oh well.
She's not a main character in that.
No, she's not.
Well, that's what she is a bit.
Yeah, there's loads of things. I mean, well, you were talking about the Court of Owls earlier, which would be pretty
I forgot about that actually. I've just seen the
cool
book.
thing. Yeah, that would be pretty cool to have involved, like having Batman versus like a cult.
That'd be
So
really
that-
cool. So the
that'd
Court
be
of Owls are like people who kind of secretly control pretty much everything that happens in Gotham. So they kind of are in control of literally everything, which would be like a really cool. If like, as like a mystery thing where Batman's kind of trying to take down the mob or something, and then he kind of finds this like hint to someone else is behind everything.
Yeah,
That could be really cool. They also have like a warrior, don't they, called the Talon,
yeah, the Talon, yeah,
who
who's pretty badass.
isn't he like an owl sort of thing?
Yeah, yeah,
So it's kind of obviously like a take from Owlman, and
yeah,
because owls are like natural predators of bats, something like that, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
That could be really cool.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. That'd be a different like take as well, because usually he's fighting like one villain who maybe has a few, henchmen and stuff. But to see him fight this sort of creepy mob not mob, cult clan sort of thing would be really cool. And you could even play with like horror sort of tropes in that. Do you know
Yeah.
when he fights their like base or whatever, which would be pretty cool. Anything else?
I think that's it. Apart from some Twitter feedback.
Yeah, should we say what the tweets have been saying to us?
Yep. So I asked people for the Batman villains they want to see on screen next, and I said the Riddler, Red Hood, Hush, and other. So by 1%, the Riddler wins on 39%, Red Hood 38%, Hush 13%, and other 10%. So at Nerds Chatting voted there's only one answer with a GIF of Red Hood.
Yeah,
Good shout.
good shout. Very cool villain.
Michael86 says, I watch Gotham, so I get them all and then some. To which I questioned how good Gotham was these days. I said, we should go back and check it out. Season 3 has just wrapped. One of my favourite shows. They are villain-centric a lot, but the villains are so good. But that was, to me, like when I watched Gotham, that was one of the things that I did not like about Gotham.
Yeah, there's two men. It was like, look who this guy is.
Yeah, remember
Look who this
him
guy
from
is.
the comics.
Yeah.
And the old like weird
Like,
versions. Like, there's a little girl called like Ivy,
Yeah,
I think they've retconned that now, but I think there is a poison ivy now. But originally it was like a red-headed girl called Ivy. It's like, oh, come on, you're better than this, surely.
Yeah, it was just like there was just so...
It was like kids at school. It was like, remember, this guy's at school. This guy's also at school. Look at him. He's at school. It's just like...
they're all like so young. Like, that's one thing they were like, not all these people were supervillains. Like, you just going, oh yeah, they're all supervillains as soon as they were born. There was no sort of character development there. It's like they were always bad people. They were always the character that they are when they were grown up in the comics. You just go, that's not character progression there. That's just going, these guys are bad guys that you know from the comics. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
There's a few like that.
Maybe it gets better. The Joker's supposed to be good in that, isn't he? Like,
is he actually appeared now? Because I remember there's a few characters who were sort of supposed to be him, but
I think he has appeared and stuff. But again, I'm like, because he's a kid or he's younger in it, you just think, well, like, again, is he just a psycho because he's a psycho? Like, there's no...
But I think Ra's al Ghul's turned up as well now, actually.
Who has?
Ra's al Ghul.
Oh, okay.
I think him and Bruce have started... But like, I don't see the point in doing like a Batman origin story.
Yeah, but
it just doesn't interest me. Like, what would interest me is like a Jim Gordon origin story.
Is that not what it's supposed to be?
I think that's what it's supposed to be. But for me, it just sounds like there's this kid who's Bruce Wayne who's just, and it's like it's like a Batman origin story and a villain origin story. And like there's a Gotham, I can't remember what it's called. It's a comic book about like the Gotham City Police Department about Jim Gordon.
Yeah,
which is supposed to be really good because it's just like crime.
Yeah,
that'd be really cool. Like a Jim Gordon trying to deal with like corruption and crime in a city.
Yeah, and then if you wanted to have other bits, if you wanted to have other bits and pieces in it, like some of the villains around Gotham and stuff, that'd be pretty cool.
I don't feel like I need that. I think that just takes away from like the actual...
No, but like, I mean, if you wanted to hint to it and they were there like occasionally, or in like the odd episode there was a hint to it, and fair enough. But I think it's makes all like every single episode there's a different like.
Penguin really annoyed me in that as well.
What completely lost me was the scene where, like, Barbara Gordon, like his wife, there was like this hint that she was like in a lesbian relationship, and I was just like, no, I'm not. Like, it was obviously like just a thing to be like, let's get in all the teenage boys because we're gonna get two hot girls to make out.
Look how edgy we are.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm not. Like, they just thrown that in for
the sake of it.
For the sake of it, for no reason. It's like, well, that's what it's felt like anyway, because it came out of absolutely nowhere.
I vaguely remember that.
And I think that's the last episode I watched because I was like,
because you hate gays.
I'm so homophobic. I was like, marriage is between a man and a woman.
Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Steve, yeah. But maybe I think it's on Netflix.
So yeah, why don't you just have a different character who's lesbian instead of retconning in a weird... Yeah, I can't remember this. It was really badly done, wasn't it?
It was, because it was like you was just chatting, and then suddenly this woman turned up. And
oh
my God.
Yeah, I remember.
And then they started making out, and I was like, what is happening here?
Yeah, I remember that. Some more feedback then. Two Honest Guys says it can only be Condiment King.
Is that an actual villain?
Yeah.
Is he good?
I don't think so.
Condiment King. Let's find out about this guy. He looks pretty... Oh, he's from the TV series.
Yeah, so we didn't actually mention it. Yeah, we didn't. I was just thinking that. They got some pretty good...
Yeah, that's where Harley Quinn originated. Yeah. Like, that's so impressive that a character that was brought into an... You know, like, characters like that can sometimes really be just shunned by the fans and everything, but she was done so well in the TV series that people were like, yeah, we want to see more of this. And now she's like a staple character within the world and one of the most popular ones.
Now girls over dressing up as for Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. Well, apparently the Condiment King was a throwback to the 1966 Adam West Batman series in that he was a whimsical and made many condiment-based puns, apparently.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Just some more feedback. Still going?
He's got little guns that have mustard and ketchup in them. That was in the animated series, though. And I think he's probably still mental, but he's probably a bit more normal in the comics nowadays.
That's kind of the great thing about the animated series, that you can have like one episode which is really dark, and the next one could just be
Some guy
totally
shooting
completely
mustard.
different. Yeah. That sounds wrong. Jack and the Geek Stalk on Twitter says has to be Red Hood, especially with the tease in BVS, which is kind of what I said.
Yeah,
I
pretty
said
much.
that was my that was kind of the storyline. I think I wrote a piece about this on the site like ages ago, saying this is what I wanted the Batman when that kind of got announced or kind of was rumored. That was kind of what I wanted that solo film to be, was Red Hood. One we haven't mentioned, Marcus at the Marco guy on Twitter says Man-Bat.
Yeah, Man-Bat's kind of cool. If you did it right, like again, he's usually seems to be like a bit more of a side character. Like a bit
he's like even in the Arkham games, he's like there, but he's not really.
Yeah, because it's a whole. Is it Dr. Langston? I think
Something like that. Yeah,
something like that. Who's created this serum that turns what's he? I can't remember what he's trying to do.
there's a big arc with him in the animated series as well, quite early on.
Yeah, I can't remember what he's trying to do with the serum, but it turns him into a Man-Bat. Again, that's a bit more of a out there sort of one. Like you'd have to do it in a very specific way, but it could be quite cool because you could almost have it as like a werewolf sort of storyline, and Batman's hunting him, almost like a Van Helsing-esque sort of thing.
That would be pretty cool.
Could be pretty cool. And again, you could maybe have Bruce interacting with Dr. Langston, and his wife's also a doctor as well, isn't she? Like she works with him, I'm pretty sure. So again, you could have that sort of dynamic. Like maybe Bruce Wayne's invested in the funding that they're doing because he thinks they're doing good work, which they are trying to do. Which again is an interesting thing with that character, that it's not like a villain that's meaning to be bad. He's trying to do some good with his research, but he gets to the point where he has to try it on himself, and then it all goes wrong.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. You could do like a horror thing as well with that.
Yeah, like a horror sort of wolf man, but with a bat and hunting him, that sort of thing. But then you could even have obviously the police would be after him, or animal control, whichever one. I don't know what you'd have, but obviously maybe if Batman finds out who he is and he's trying to save him to a certain extent because he knows who he is and he knows he's not meaning to do it, but you've got the police trying to just kill him, so you could have cool dynamic there and stuff. Yeah,
that'd be really good. Gary Renfield at RIP Renfield says hard to do. Frank Gorshin owned the role, which is the guy who played the Riddler in the 66 Batman.
Yeah.
But I think, like we said before, I don't think you could kind of... You couldn't do it the same way.
Yeah, you'd have to...
that works in the 66 thing, but you'd have to have... You could totally reinvent that character for these days. It's not like redoing a Joker, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I mean. Everyone probably, when Heath Ledger got cast, people you can't... everyone felt like Nicholson was a perfect interpretation of the Joker, and the two very different interpretations. I know which one I prefer, but you can it's still a good. Nicholson is probably closer to the comics, but that's what I mean. He doesn't have to be close to the comics to be good.
Yeah, and at Voice of Grumpy says Mr. Clean. Anyone who makes a cleaning solution that nasty smelling has to be evil. I don't even know who Mr. Clean is.
You googled him?
Yeah, I just tried, but...
Is he making a joke that we don't understand?
I think so. It's a brand name.
Is it?
It's a... Yeah, I don't think it's anything to do with Batman, because I tried Googling Mr. Clean Batman, nothing came up. He's just a guy who does bleach or something.
Maybe the bleach just smells really bad.
Yeah, maybe it's an American thing.
This guy wants Batman to...
Sort him out.
Here
we go. Mr. Clean is a brand name and mascot fully owned by Procter & Gamble, used as an all-purpose cleaner and melamine foam cleaner.
He does look pretty creepy.
As far as he does, yeah. Maybe we should
put a picture of him on Twitter.
A single hoop earring as well.
Yeah, that's never good.
Bald with a single hoop earring is not good.
Not a good look. With a white t-shirt.
Yeah.
No, he's definitely a pedo.
He will touch your children.
Yeah, he needs locking up.
Yeah, there we go. So that's an unexpected twist.
Yeah,
but there we go. Hush is Mr. Clean.
Could be. You don't know, do you? Don't know in Batman. Is that all the feedback?
That's all the feedback.
Very exciting stuff. So that brings us to the end of another episode of the Real Film Podcast.
Nope.
No, it doesn't.
Different name now.
Oh, the Real Issues Podcast.
At least you're closer this time. Last time you got the name wrong.
I actually said thanks for listening to the Real Film Podcast on the Fortnightly Forum podcast the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you edit it out?
I've not edited it yet, but
Right.
I'll keep it.
Oh, you did realise you've not like edited it and released it?
No. They all pulled me up on it, so it's fine. I've done it on both podcasts now. Neither of them are my favourite. I love them both equally. So you can find us in all the usual places. It'll all be linked below by Rob. So you've got Twitter at realfilm_movies. You can find us on Facebook. You can read our blog on WordPress, realfilmmoviereviews.wordpress.com. Find us on Podbean and iTunes. Leave us a lovely review.
Yeah,
5 stars only.
Best thing if you want to do, tell a friend. And leave a review. Leave a rating. That helps.
Yeah.
That's all we ask.
Yeah, and we've also got our YouTube channel where there's some sweet videos up there. If you've enjoyed this episode, you might enjoy, as I mentioned earlier, my Real Film rewrites of Suicide Squad, and I'm going to be working on a new one of them soon, hopefully. Probably Batman v Superman. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, we'll link all that below so you can find it if you want to. And I think that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Probably.
That's everything.
What are we doing next week?
What are we doing next week? Don't know. We've got a few topics in the bank.
I want to see Baby Driver next week.
Oh, is that out next week?
I've got a unlimited screening.
Oh, cool.
Tuesday.
It's not far off.
We're doing
maybe
Edgar Wright.
Yeah, I was just about to say we can do an Edgar Wright episode. I actually thought about this because I rewatched Hot Fuzz recently as well, and that's thoughts on that. Some thoughts on that one. Now I've got some thoughts on Scott Pilgrim as well, but
I've not seen Scott Pilgrim. Maybe I'll watch Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, I didn't particularly like it, but
spoilers.
Yeah,
next
another
episode.
thing I hate that people seem to love. That James Gunn,
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
I kind of get what you mean about Blade Runner. Actually, I watched it.
Have you watched it?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah, yeah. It's so slow.
Yeah, I think it's built up so much as one of the greatest films of all time, and then I watch it and I'm like, this isn't bad, but I'm not blown away.
Yeah, no, I wasn't blown away. It's so slow.
Yeah,
it's so slow, and there's like
people turning off.
And there's like no dialogue.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bits where I just kind of switched off for 5 minutes, and like it was the same scene, and still nothing happened in it.
Yeah.
There's like a slow film, and then there's
that.
Yeah.
It's the score's supposed to be like legendary as well, but I didn't really like the score.
No.
Like Vangelis. Is it?
Maybe we should do a Blade Runner episode.
Yeah, should we do a Blade Runner episode?
Why
we hated it.
I didn't hate it.
Why Blade Runner is the most overrated piece of poo in cinema history.
I suppose I think in context of when it was released, it probably did a lot for like sci-fi and stuff.
Oh yeah, of course it did. Yeah, yeah.
And that kind of I quite liked. I like the themes and I like what it's trying to do, but as like an actual film, I can't say I want to watch it again.
No, that's it. I always think I should watch it again, but I've never.
It was a hard watch, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was like when I watched Silence. I was like, I mean, I can kind of appreciate this, but I'm not having a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
we should do an episode on that and just be like, why?
Just see how much hate we get just from the episode name.
Yeah.
Why Blade Runner is so overrated.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Actually, we should do that.
Yeah. Well, we should do an Edgar Wright episode when Baby Driver's out, when I get a chance to watch it. We got a few ideas in the bank. They're all interesting, so it doesn't matter what it is. You should tune in anyway next week.
Or if you want us to debate something, give us an idea.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. If there's anything you want us to discuss with our expert opinions, let us know. Yeah, just drop us a cheeky line, letting us know. That's everything. We'll see you soon.
See you next week time. Sometime.
Bye.